Hello again. Welcome back to Ancient Paths, our summer challenge this year to read through our confessions. Today we are on Lord's Day 3, and it has three questions in it. Questions 6, 7, and 8 of the Catechism. So, question 6 asks, did God create people so wicked and perverse? And it answers no. God created them good and in his own image, that is, in true righteousness and holiness, so that they might truly know their Creator, love him with all their heart, and live with him in eternal happiness for his praise and glory. Question 7 asks, then where does this corrupt human nature come from? And the answer is, from the fall and disobedience of our first parents, Adam and Eve, in paradise. This fall has so poisoned our nature that we are born sinners, corrupt from conception on. And question 8 asks, but are we so corrupt that we are totally unable to do any good and inclined toward all evil? And it answers yes, unless we are born again by the Spirit of God. Three quick things about Lord's Day 3. First, question 6 is really getting at the point that God is not responsible for sin. Yes, he is the God who has created all things, and all things unfold according to his will, and we'll talk more about that as the days unfold, as we get farther into the Catechism about how to understand God's will in that sense. But God is not responsible for sin. He did not create human beings with sin, a sin nature, but rather with, well, it's important to note that he created us with a will, and with a free will, such that because he wanted us to be in relationship to him willingly, in a relationship of love. And we've talked about this at various times through the years, that the ultimate purpose of God in all of history and the future that is to come is the creation of willing worshipers, or you could think of it in other language, particularly based on how Jesus summarizes the law in terms of love for God, that his desire and what he's working toward is willing lovers of God, people who love God because they love God, not because they are hardwired to not be able to do anything but. And so we were created with a will in our original freedom and righteousness, but with the will to either follow God or not. So we are responsible for the sin. The second thing to note about Lord's Day 3 is that we were, in fact, as they say, born this way. But this way is in sin. And when we say in sin, what we mean is that our very nature has been corrupted. So we're not simply prone to or liable to sin, or we have a weakness that sometimes falls into sin, but our very nature has been corrupted, and it has been corrupted by sin. So the problem that we're in our misery is not simply that we need a list of things to do. The problem is that our nature has been corrupted, and corrupted by sin and the rebellion that only wants to resist righteousness and the things that God would have us to be and to do. And this really is the key to understanding everything else about the faith, and frankly, everything else about your life and the world that you live in, is to understand the fullness of the effects of the fall. That's what we're getting at in question 7. The third quick thing for Lord's Day 3 is with regard to question 8. This is another one of those questions that seems a little extreme, like a little over the top. Are we so corrupt that we're totally unable to do any good and inclined toward all evil? And it answers yes. And we wonder, well, I know people that don't know the Lord, and they do good things, but again, the key here is understanding what the Catechism means by some of these words, and particularly here, the word good. And when the Catechism is referring to things that are good, and it's going to get to this again, although not till question and answer 91, when it's referring to things that we do that are good, it includes, among other things, our motivation for doing those things. So in time, the Catechism will delve a little bit deeper into what really makes anything that we do good, right? But just for the purposes here, we just need to know that it's deeper than just the surface of the action taken, okay, that it has to do, among other things, with our motivation as well. So those are 3 quick things for Lord's Day 3.